Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to use a custom button to submit a form on Wix Studio. The first thing we need to do is actually add our form. So we'll click add elements and then we will go down to contacts and forms and we will create a new form. And we're just going to have a first name, last name, email and a long answer field. And we're going to click save. We can close that. As you see, we've got our form here. I'm going to just push that to the top. Next I'm going to click the add elements button, then I'm going to go to buttons and I'm going to grab this styled button and I'm going to just place that there. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger first. Next we're going to add a paragraph tag underneath this button, and we'll change this text to thank you for your message. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these and I'm going to place them in a container, and I'm actually going to give this container a grid. I'm going to have two columns. With the form selected, we're going to put that in the first column, and we're going to select this thank you message and our button, and we'll also stack them together. Turn on advanced sizing and set the width to 100%. I'm also going to have this button's width at 100%. And make sure that's docked to the left. Make sure that's docked to the left. Then we're going to come over to our layout and we're going to change this min height to max content. And with our grid container selected, we're also going to give this 24 pixel space. And let's change that to 8 pixels. I don't like odd numbers. That's the basic layout of the form. We're also make sure that's docked to the left. Next, what we have to do is we need to turn on coding. To do that, we click this little button here, click start coding. Next, I'm going to add the CSS styles to our button. I'm just going to copy and paste these styles in. I will leave a link down below with a video where I show how to create a gradient button. With a button selected, I'm going to go back to the CSS file and give it that class name. Now we've got our nice gradient button. Let's change that text. Let's chat. We'll go to the hover state and just change this text to white. Now with our text box selected, we want to go to our velo code. We can delete all of this, and we can also get rid of that there. And we want this to be hidden and collapsed so that when we click preview we will no longer see the thank you message. There we go. Next I'm going to go over to the Velo documentations to get the code to submit this form. I will leave a link down below to the documentation. As we can see here, this is the code that we need, so we can just copy and paste that into our onReady function here. We need to can't quite click it. We need, with our button selected, we're going to change the ID to submit button. And with our form collected, as you can see, we've got a very long ID here. We can change that, and we're just going to change that to form. so that it matches this name here. You can call this anything you want as long as it's matching what you called the form. You can also name the button anything you want. You just have to make sure it's got the same ID there as you've got there. And that would take care of submitting this form. If we click publish, save, quickly fill in the form. And now if we click submit, that's all cleared. If we go to our console, we click on the console, we can see here the form has been submitted with an object, and that has our email address, our name and our last name. So we can see that has been submitted. Okay. Next we're going to make it so this thank you question shows up after clicking on the button. To do that, we need to bring back up our code editor, and we want to go to the Velo documentation, and we want on submit success, and we're going to just copy this code again, and we'll go over to our editor and we'll paste that in here. As you can see, this name again is matching the name that we've got on our form. And then in here we can delete that because we don't really need these console logs. We could keep the error one to be on the safe side, but most people wouldn't look for the console if there was an error. You could include an error message on using the on submit failure, I think it is. With our text selected, we'll go to our code editor. I'm going to change this to success message. In this on submit function, we're going to write let success message equal, and we're going to have this equal our text box ID that we've got here. So we're going to do $W, and if we just type S, we should see it on the auto suggested. Next we target the success message, and we want to do dot expand brackets dot then, and then brackets, and I'm just going to use an arrow function here. And we also want to target the success message, and we want to say show. And what this expand does is, if you've got a element set to collapse, this expands that collapse element, and because we've also got it hidden, this will then unhide the element. You can also add animations into this using the Velo animations library, but I'm not going to do that for this example. And then we want this message to hide after so long, so we're going to use a set timeout. I'm going to set this to 10,000 milliseconds, and we're basically going to do the exact same thing here, but we're going to do it in reverse. So instead of expand, we're going to have it collapse. Instead of show, we're going to have it hide. Now if we click publish, wait a couple of seconds because sometimes it can take a minute to publish a site. Go to our live site. Now we've refilled this in again. We don't really need to put everything in properly. This one will actually need an email address. leave that sub. Now if we click submit, you can see our thank you message has popped up, and give it a second, it should disappear. There we go. That's a little bit too long on the amount of time. I think we can probably drop that down to maybe 5,000 milliseconds, which is about 5 seconds. And that's how you can create a custom button to submit a Velo form. One of the big advantages of this is that you can add these gradient hovers and any other sort of CSS stylings that you can't use on the regular Wix forms. I hope you have found this video useful. Thank you for watching.